Like you do is take a read through it individually. You'll notice there's a big section of student learning outcomes. That's what we're going to learn. Do read them, but you don't necessarily have to read them all this second. So after you've had a chance to take a look at this individually as a group, I'd like you to do two things. One, come up with at least one thing you think is very important that should not be missed. And two, come up with a question. Is there something that's unclear? Is there something that you want to know more about? Okay, so why don't we do sort of 5 minutes of silent reading and then 5 minutes of group time to address those issues. All right, why don't we, have we had enough time? Are we ready? So let's go just group by group. What do you think is important? What questions you have? And there's a couple things I want to highlight. Who wants to start?
We have questions about the module.
Does the module refer to the paper books? Is that what that's referring to? Like it says week 2, module 1. Is that the first handout? And it's referring to that entire section of the module?
Correct. So the curriculum comes from Carnegie. It's sold in the bookstore. There's 2 packets. And our field trip, if we get there, is to go there and buy it. Some of you already have. I think so far it's less than $10. Does that sound right? There'll be one more that I'll put together, and I'll do that when I'm clear on exactly how many people in the class. And so instead of calling it chapters, they're called modules. So this one is module 1. This is 2. This semester will cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 12. But some of the other ones aren't as long. So you'll end up with something that's about probably twice this thickness. So the good news is that it's quite cheap relative to other books. But that's what's meant by modules. Yes, questions, other things you think are important? Go ahead.
Do you think you could outline some of the learning outcomes, just like overall what, because it's just like a list of like 1 to 5, and I'm like, I don't know.
So the question is the learning outcomes. Really what, in statistics, you're learning to collect data, analyze data, and present data and infer from data. So that's the big picture. Statistics is really about data. We're going to learn a lot about data. Other questions or things that you think are important? Let me highlight a couple of things. My office. So if you make a right, you get to that, I don't know what you call it, foyer, atrium, bathrooms, elevator. To the right of the elevator is the math lab. It's a good place to study, a nice place to meet maybe before class. If you're here a little bit early, there's tables in the back. It'll be open next week. It's not open this week. To the left is a door that leads to faculty offices. You make a left through that door, I'm in the corner. So my office is 40 seconds from here. Okay, so there's no reason to say you can't find it, can't make it. The best way to contact me is email. You're welcome to leave a voicemail, but email. I'm pretty quick about responding. In addition to those office hours, there's other times that I'm can and happy to meet with you. I'm here a lot, department chair, so I'm on campus as much or more than I want to be. But those are official office hours, and if there's other times, please let me know. What else do I want to say? Please be here. You have a kind of responsibility to your groups, and of course, most importantly, to yourself. Most of us, or many of us, are kind of addicted to our cell phones, but I'd like to, and there are professors that go kind of crazy about it. I don't think I'm one of those. But you are doing a disservice to your own learning and to other people. So try to minimize cell phone use. If you're expecting a call, if it's a doctor or something, I understand that. Let me know. Put it on vibrate. Take it outside. What else? Oh, I did not put anything about technology, which I probably should have. We will be using this calculator. It's a TI-83 or 84. If you can get one, that would be terrific. However, I realize that they're very expensive. It's probably $100. I'll maybe get one cheaper used. I do have a set that I can bring in class. So, in class we're covered. There'll be times there's work out of class where you might want one, so you could go to the math lab and borrow it, or you could use Excel possibly. So it's not an absolute requirement. It's a nice calculator. It'll serve you well for 2 semesters. This is the 83. You can get the 84. The 89 is not as good in terms of stats. It's a little harder to use. So if you can possibly get one or know someone that has one and they're not using it this term, I think you can rent them for $5 a month. But it's not a requirement because, again, I understand that financially things can be pretty tough these days for a lot of folks. Okay. And I think that's it. If you have an issue with a disability, please let me know, and I'm more than happy to work with you. Finally, in terms of the outline, it's projected. I mean, we'll stick pretty close to this. I'll never spring a test on you. I'll never come in and say, oh, I'm really feeling tired today. Here's a test. Sit down and take that. You'll know the week before. Here's the day it's going to be. The day before I feel like we're not ready, I'll push it back a day. Right? So obviously, my goal for you to be ready for whatever assessments we're doing. Questions? And then finally, this is really a contract, right? It's really an agreement. I need to live up to my end. You need to live up to your end. And take it seriously, which I know you will. I used to do something, I guess, that was more traditional, where I would just kind of read through it, and I was bored during that. So it was, got me thinking, like, oh my, how can I sort of streamline this, make it a little more of a group activity? And so I started doing a colleague who did something similar, and I think she eventually gave a syllabus quiz, maybe a week or 2 later, and it might have been a group quiz. I don't know. I haven't quite gone to that level. So, I mean, clearly it's important in that it sets out some policies, and, obviously if there are disputes, and now as chair I can see that, it's a way to cover yourself and explain to students legitimately, here's, it's important, here's what you're going to learn, here is how I'm going to assess you. But on the first day, it's just so much to take in. They don't know what statistics is, and they're just trying to get to know you. So that's why I chose to handle it this way, and have them. Okay, what do you think? What do you think is important? And often students will want to know, well, how am I being graded? How many tests are there? Is there a paper in this class or whatever? And then maybe something that seems unclear or they don't know about.
All right, so you've probably when has it ever been that we've been 45 minutes into a class and not seen a syllabus yet? Anybody wondering? Dun, 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 it's here. Okay. That I remembered. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to read this over. I have read this over. I hope I got all the typos out. But I'll give you a minute to read this over. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and interrupt your thought process right now. Get used to it. I try not to do it too often, but it will happen. I am going to get you guys into groups now. But I have a typical challenge here. There are 7 rows, so I can't just say, oh, these rows and these rows and these rows. So if you could help me with some shuffling, that would be great. I think this is the row that if I could have you guys kind of move these ways. I've got a few seats over here, and you'd make my life easy, and I'll be forever grateful. Thank you. You're good, because I'll move you this way or that way. You'll be fine. Okay. So now 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to have you 5 would be a group, and you 4. So you're part of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Wait, 2, 4, 6. I take that back. You 4, and you're 4. I'm bad with names right now. I'll have my names. Yeah, just 4. You 4, right here. You 2? Me 2. You're part of, yep. And then you 4. It's too confusing for me. 5? 4? You're next. That's confusing too. Star, I'll have you. So these 3 and you. Okay, and 4. Or 5. Do you want to be on this side? Okay, 5. You're over here. Okay, 4. 5. 5.
I don't think
Oh, you came on email. You're my email adder. Okay. I got you down. The email adder. So do you have time after class to come to my office to fill out stuff? Okay. And both of you go by Michael.
Mike, that's fine. I've been called many things, so it's all good.
He's Mike D.
You've done military, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's Mike D.
Mike D. Okay. Okay, good.
I joined in the 80s. And when did you get out? 92. It's all right.
How often should you notify me if you're going to miss class?
Every time.
Every time. And how can you do so? Oh, some people caught that. I didn't see that. So email, text, uh-huh. Okay, so if you know that you have something coming up, work is making you go to some boring meeting, but you have some reason that you cannot be here and you know in advance, let me know. Okay? You can email me. That email address is BROCKM at that ARC thing, right? ARC.los. It wasn't?
No, it didn't ask that.
Oh, okay, okay. Text? You can text me? How many people text? I've got just about everybody in the class. Okay, so you can text me at 916-538-2123. Okay, please make sure if you text me, all that shows up is a phone number. I don't know who you are. Just say, hey, it's so-and-so. Throw a last initial on there. Tell me what class you're in and give me your sob story. Okay, or just say, I'm not going to be there or I'm running late. Okay, I like to know these things. I worry, I'm a mom, I worry about people when they don't show up where they're supposed to be. Okay, it's what happens. You can leave me a voicemail. I've gotten a few hang-ups on my voicemail over summer. If you call my phone, you can leave a voicemail. I get it through my email system. I can catch it from wherever I'm at. If you hang up, I don't know that you call. I mean, I know somebody called, but I don't know who it was. It doesn't give me any recognition of who it was. Just leave a message. Okay?